Hey guys, it's me again. Shout out to MJ BizCon, the biggest cannabis conference happening in Las Vegas, December 2nd through the 5th. We're building out our manufacturing and distributing project, creating real opportunities for brands and operators to connect and grow. If you want to get involved, reach out and be a part of it. It's going to be the hot market area. All right, back to the show.
We are here in Ohio. Lenny's conference, I like to call it, because Lenny's such a good guy. Lenny's mom is downstairs hosting the VIP room. A lot of Ohio license holders roaming around, different members of supply chain, lots of ancillary auxiliary companies here, and some very important, significant people in cannabis. I'm kind of leading towards you right now. Journeymen, journeywomen, people who know their way around the industry, see what's going on, know what's going on, talk to a lot of people, touch a lot of people. And Adam, you and I know you from your Aspire days. But real quickly, introduce yourself to our audience. You are one of these individuals who knows a lot of things. And then at the end, we're going to get into your new and latest project.
All right. Yeah. My name is Adam Rothstein. I'm co-founder and CEO of the Plug Society. We'll dig into that a little bit later, but background on me, grew up in the Michigan area. After college, I moved out to California. I worked in advertising and music licensing for a few years, and then fell into cannabis after getting screwed over by a music producer, as others do in LA, and got to do some delivery driving and worked out of a dispensary, worked as a brand ambassador for heavy hitters for a while, then got pulled into a distro, built out a few brands into a third of the state in California. And that's when I got poached to go over to the ancillary side of the space at Aspire.
Yeah.
So it was really nice just to be able to kind of go from that, like, I don't know, call it the bottom of the totem pole, but it really was. Delivery driving was a little sketch, but like when you can see how the whole industry works from going from something like that, branching into the dispensary level, then going to the brand, then to the place where all the brands are processed and made, then going a step further to the supply chain, the picks and shovels, it really gives you a good understanding of how everything flows from supply chain all the way to the consumer.
Sounds like you've done everything but actually grow the plant.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've done that for fun at home.
Okay.
Not
a scale
or
yeah.
anything. Yeah. So
no, it's great to have an understanding of the supply chain. I have a similar experience myself since 2012, retail, cultivation, brand manufacturing, that kind of stuff. Then I transitioned into other things. But yeah, so you got Aspire. When did you get poached to go over to Aspire?
That was right after COVID, so February of 2020.
Yeah, and we first met sometime around 2020 or stuff. And you were with them. And one of the things, and not that you should be thankful to Aspire, but they sent you around the world to meet other people. You know, they're busy getting their accounts and stuff, but you're helping them get accounts, and you're acquiring this knowledge base of global cannabis.
Yeah, the network I was able to build in that 4.5 years there, especially on the international scale, right? You start seeing these emerging markets are very similar. There's a lot of nuances and failing forward that has to happen unless people come from that understanding of having gone through that and failed forward themselves.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of these guys from California going over to Europe or the emerging markets over here in the US, but knowing that every state here is so different, you know, we essentially have 35 different countries in our own country, how we're running it. So you look at Canada, you look at the European nations who've evolved over the last 5 years. I think they're on a really good track. I hope we're paying attention to what they're doing too.
Yeah,
because
absolutely,
their framework is now actually starting to shape up a little better than ours.
You know, I think about that a lot because the framework and how the supply chain, the market structure works, it's all, you know, unique state to state, country by country, but they copy each other and then they copy other industries. And it's so sad that the cannabis plant, unlike real estate and banking and tomatoes, hasn't had the opportunity to naturally evolve an ecosystem, supply chain structure, market structure, organically over the last hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right. And the hardest part is when you start to try to look at commercializing it, a lot of people start losing the focus of the plant and why we're all here, which is the plant medicine aspect of it, right? Like providing back to the consumer, where if we go too fast and try to bring in what other CPG industries are doing, it just becomes a number, right? It's very commercialized, and we're going to lose sight of the culture and purpose of why we're all here.
And there are good CPG ideas. You know, people can copy this, copy that, like potato chips, and then bring in some sort of system into cannabis. But the plant never had a chance to grow organically. Now we have all these ideas. You know, I remember when people like, let's copy Colorado. Colorado was just throwing shit at the wall. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody's copying it. You know, people are flying up from Uruguay to go visit Colorado to meet the regulators and see how it's working and what's changed. And depends what regulator you meet. It's just, the whole thing is ridiculous. Prohibition was ridiculous. The devolution of prohibition is ridiculous. The drug war 2.0, the prohibition 2.0 is ridiculous, but it's also necessary and real at the same time.
Yeah, that's why we travel, right? We'll go back to
Yeah.
that. It's like when you can share ideas and talk about what's working. We always say it takes a village. That's the village is when we come do this, right? If you
Yeah.
isolate yourself and don't share the ideas, we're never going to get better.
But when you're a villager traveling to all the different villages, you start to realize how ridiculous the villages are and all the systems that they create. Then what?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
that's
start your
where
own village.
we started seeing the.
Wait, you did start your own village.
I did start my own
There you
village.
go.
Yeah. And that's like that's where the whole idea came from. Was the first year at iSpire, we hit 42 trade shows that first year, and it was pretty much anyone that would take us after the COVID lockdowns were released, and I started seeing the same vendors every week because we were at a different show in a different city. And when you start seeing those people more than your own friends and your family, they inevitably become your friends and your family who you want to support. So that was where the idea of the Plug Society came from about 4.5 years ago, was being this vape guy at trade shows. And 20% of the market are vape producers. And some, not even including retailers, probably even less. You're looking at like 5 to 10% of people you talk to maybe wanted vapes.
So what is the Plug Society?
So we're building a free platform for brands, operators, and retailers that will essentially act as a vendor resources and project management tool. So envision like an Angie's list of vendors for brands, operators, and retailers. And we're baking in the project management tools. So a new operator in Ohio, per se, where we're at right now, could say, I just got a processing license and I'd like to build out an extraction lab. Click. It'll pop up every vendor they need to do that. They can pick and choose what they need and actually project manage that through to close. Or if they're looking to hire someone, if they're looking to launch an infused pre-roll, all of these different prompts could come in and help people build it. I wanted to make a system that could help someone who is an enterprise level or a startup company as well. So what I realized from meeting all these different vendors around the world and going to these shows is we're all going after the same brands, operators, and retailers, just different people within those companies, right?
Right.
So like a CMO may talk to 10 to 15 outside ancillary vendors. The COO might talk to 15 to 20. The CFO talks to 10. And all these guys are using their own Google Sheets or Slack or Monday. But there's no centralized system that just brings all that together.
Right.
So that's essentially what I was saying when it's like a vendor resource and management tool. It's like a starter level ERP before you get into an enterprise level planning system.
And is there a reason why you left cultivation out of that?
Cultivation's in there.
Oh, I thought you said, I thought you were brands, manufacturing,
Operators,
and
yeah.
operators, cultivators as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything ancillary. This will be a private B2B, so there won't be any Gmails, Yahoos, Proton mails. Try to keep all that stuff out. That way people actually use real business addresses. So I'm trying to clean the supply chain up. There's a lot of fragmentation in the supply chain. There's a lot of distrust, and there's a huge lack of accountability, which is why I wanted to bake in this deal-based rating system. Because the only rating systems I've ever seen to date allowed people to use bots or employees to go attack mom and pop who are good people or are putting out a good product and have done everything right, but are just being sabotaged because they had a better product than this other guy, right?
So it's available for free to operators, license holders, those people,
Retailers, yeah.
the entire supply chain from seed to sale, the whole thing. And then I assume ancillary, auxiliary companies are paid members. Is that
Yeah. So for the foundation part of this, again, I want to build a system on trust. In an ideal world, and this is the end goal, we'll have vendors apply, and then I'd love for someone to be able to look at 10 different terpene providers and 10 different packaging providers and see ratings, reviews, testimonials, what they have in stock. But that's the end goal, right?
Right.
I wish I could do it tomorrow, and I like to move fast.
No, it is.
But it has to be built very organically and slowly with trust. Like I go visit all of our vendor partners at their HQ. If it's administrative, I want to meet their team, make sure everyone's smiling. If it's more on the manufacturing side, they're putting a hairnet on me. Just because if you're sticking your neck out for people, right? Like I always wanted to say yes. That was like when I said the vape guy, people would run away from me. Like it's like we can be friends. We're in the same room for 3 days. Like what are you working on and how can I help you? And I just wanted to be able to provide that answer of yes, I have someone for you, and be able to plug them in.
So I like this, and I'm learning about this. This is kind of what we do at Unshackled, because he's throwing it down and I'm picking up and analyzing it. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't need to charge the ancillary auxiliary members. You just take a percentage of the deals that go through your network.
Right. That's what, for the foundational phase. We're doing fractional business development. So we do a flat fee month to month, and we go to 50 plus shows a year on our partners' behalfs for these vendors.
Right.
So right now I have 2 full-time business development reps, an East Coast affiliate and a West Coast affiliate. And collectively, I'm hitting about 50 shows myself. So we're probably hitting around 80 shows collectively with all those people.
Yeah.
So they're paying a flat fee, $999 a month, and we work out a separate commission structure with all of them, knowing that there's no
for the
unicorn model for the vendors.
elevators, affluence.
Yeah. And then the end goal of that would be, when the platform matures, those numbers come down. You have a basic and a pro plan, no different than Angie's List or Yelp does it for the
Right.
vendors. And then you can do advertising on the site. But I always wanted to make it free for the masses. That was the main thing.
I like it.
And then the community hub portion of this too is like education, research, nonprofits, events, media, anything that's driving the greater good of the industry. I want to have a place for free on this site.
Give us a place for free.
Please. I would love to have you guys.
Is Fluence a member
You
over
guys
there?
are,
I'm
you guys
looking.
are one of my favorite media partners. Come on.
I'm looking at the Fluence thing, so they can be a member.
Yep. Hip horticulture as well.
And then they just
mobile
be
renting.
listed, and then their deals, their reviews would be there. So then a cultivator would say, okay, I see 15 other people have used Fluence and had a good experience.
Right.
So I can use them. And if nobody's used company XYZ,
Mhm.
who's also doing the same thing Fluence is, then they'll just kind of ignore that. But
Right.
you know,
And just because a lot of these companies are already working with vendors, right? I'm not forcing people to come in and say you have to use our vendors. We'll have deals and incentives for that. But I want someone who's already built out their business to still come use these tools, right? They will have API integrations with CRMs. You could build out a project stack in our system and send it to your CRM.
what's API?
These would be like the keys you'd put in on the back end of a website to
Okay.
so you can
Yes,
tag
yes.
so you can tag something in another system
Yeah.
and have it pulled to another one.
Okay, good.
Just to make it
Yeah.
eliminates the human need to manually do
Just
it.
making sure our audience knows, because I know.
Yeah. So these are like technological integrations that will help save a ton of time.
Yeah.
When I was looking at all these projects, right? Like I said, there's one person on your team's talking to 10 people, another one's talking to another 10, another one's talking to another 10, but they're all involved in one project.
Yeah, I know what CRMs are. So
Yeah. So if you tag something in that CRM as your pre-roll project,
Yeah.
right? Everything that was tagged for your 2025 pre-roll project will pop up in one thing.
excellent.
So now you can actually watch it like a Domino's pizza tracker while you're going down. Like, who do we have left to pay still to get this project done? Okay, we're almost at the finish line.
No, I love this. I'm happy that you have a team and
It's been so fun the last 4 months. Like
Yeah.
every person we talk to, we can provide value to. If it's a vendor, if they're not on now, they can be later. And every other person in the industry can use these tools for free. So like now going up the booths, people are like, well, who would you like to talk to on our team? I'm like, everyone. I can
Okay.
provide value to every single person I talk to, and that's all I ever wanted to do. So it's extremely fulfilling.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to get it down the line.
Yeah.
I like what the idea. It's a really great concept. And so you've been traveling last 4 months. You said you've been everywhere.
Yeah, this is my 11th, or no, next week will be 11 expos in a 6-week span.
Right.
But that's what it takes, right? When the grassroots, before you actually I didn't want to over market it before it was ready. We go live October 23rd. So people can go on the website now and pre-register, but if you do it too far in advance, people forget about it, right? So now we're kind of at this point of the last 3 weeks, heavy push, get out there, get people on the website. Because I think within a month span, if people register, they'll remember what it was and then come back in
Sort of like
into those tools.
It's sort of like a digital conference.
In sense, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
I mean,
never
but-
wanted to take away from the events and whatnot too, because that's where I was able to build my network, right? The relationship
Yeah.
and the trust and being in the same room with someone, that energy is completely different. So even if you meet people on our site, I would encourage you go to the event section of the community hub and go find where you can see these people in person, right? Go hang out with them, go to concerts, go to events, go see their facilities and actually see what they're building in their house, because how you do one thing is how you do all. And if you show up that day to their house, you're always going to show up and they'll
Like
know
that.
that.
And the reality is we really don't need people, but we really do need people at the same time.
So as we say,
Like,
it takes
you know,
a village.
You can't get that squishy little touchy feel like that.
Am I getting soft?
Yeah, no, I'm saying no, I'm just saying if you're online and you're doing everything digitally, you don't get to touch people and
Right.
connect with them and that physicality in conferences. So you interweave well though with the conference circuit.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I want to encourage. That's why I wanted all the events that I think are worthwhile, media that's doing right for the industry. They need to have a place and a voice on there too. So anyone who comes on here in their day to day can see what's going on in other markets, get involved in these events, join media lists and get involved with what you guys are doing as well, because it's important, right? It all drives the greater good of the supply chain in the industry.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities, and I love this. And what's happening is, you're developing this. You're a startup. You're an entrepreneur. Your mind's on fire. You're creating things. You're navigating a world that you already know a lot about, but learning more, and it's changing all the time. So it's exciting. And that's one of the reasons why I still like the cannabis industry, is because there's innovation happening all the time. Like, how do they do things in the banking industry? You know, if a new bank comes on board, what do they have the plug society for banks? I don't know. You know,
We will have banking in there as well. We're actually courting a couple people right now, but yeah, it's fun learning how each of these different subcategories of the ancillary will feed
yeah.
the supply chain.
No, it's gonna be really fun. Where are you going next?
Next week I'll be in New York for Hall Flowers.
We're gonna be in Hall Flowers,
All right.
and then
Yeah, you're my show me's, of course.
yeah, no, we are
World
we
tour together.
I think
Yeah.
we had dinner once, and were you in the next President Fox's?
Yes,
Yes.
that was an amazing event.
No, I love what you guys. I mean, we had a big. There was like 18 of us. We had a nice dinner in
Yeah,
Guanajuato or something.
yeah, that was a really cool. The
I
mining
think
city.
I think we've seen you like in Barcelona, Berlin,
Yeah,
London, just around the world.
yeah,
That's
five,
wild.
five
Isn't it?
countries and probably 15 states at least at this point.
Well, you know, and then let's keep going. You know, we'll see what happens with META, Plug Society. This whole industry is going to change over time, and those people who add real value, and those projects, those companies, those networking groups and media groups that add real value will probably remain.
Right.
And let's hope you and I are. Well, you and I will remain. So will Destiny. As humans, we will remain. What form we take is always going to change.
Good will prevail, and I'm a firm believer that if you surround yourself with good people, only good things happen. So that's why we're not going anywhere.
But as soon as we close up this podcast, we're going to talk about how we can work together, because META does some things, and we know some other groups that do some things, and you know, partnerships and coalitions and community is always a valuable thing. So
well, you're the plug too.
I'm not really. Well, I never got a plug thing.
Not yet.
Do you guys still use those?
Yeah, I still got my plug chain.
Yeah, that was a. I love that. That's the plug chain.
This is the more subtle one. The other one was a little aggressive.
Is that going to be some tied to the Plug Society?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't leak too much out, but
Okay. Yeah. We'll get that. We'll get that. We'll have them on another podcast.
there may or may not be more plug chains coming.
Yeah, I like that. I want a plug chain. Plug chain. Or wait, don't worry about that. So we will see you in Hall Flowers, and we'll see you in another podcast and catch up with you. Oh, just real quickly, the last thing I want to get. Hall Flowers is October 8th. What do you see as the good shows, the good places to be in later October and November before MJ BizCon?
I'm going to be at the Ignited shows, the ex Benzinga ones. There's one in Cincinnati. They're single day shows, so I think it'll be good to get back into the Ohio market. And they're doing another one in Washington, D.C. on November 17th. I'm actually going to go out there and start doing some lobbying for standardization of testing labs and try to define what consumer safety is. So I'll be out there the 17th, 18th, and 19th in D.C.
Yeah.
Fighting the good fight on the Hill.
Generally don't like lobbyists, but I like what you're doing, and the consumers need.
I'm a newbie, so be nice to me.
No, well, you're not. Yeah, you are a newbie lobbyist. The lobbyists that I've dealt with are just so crooked and corrupt. I'll just tell one quick story before because the reason why I don't like lobbyists is 2012, 13, 14, when I was starting in the industry, lobbyists were coming to the businessmen with the licenses and saying, hey, you know what? We can go to the Capitol and protect the value of your license by limiting it. We can keep licenses from being issued, you know, and this has happened state to state, you know, and this wasn't necessarily the idea of the entrepreneur, you know, new license holder businessmen. These were the lobbyists who understood their ability to manipulate and craft behind the scenes of the legislature and saw a new industry. And they were the rats coming to the license holders. Some of the license holders themselves were like, hey, you know, we could do this. I got to hire a lobbyist or a lawyer. But I saw these lobbyists come in droves, and they'd come to me and say, Dimitri, you're an industry expert. You know your way around the industry. You know your way around lobbying, politics, and stuff. How do we get involved? How do we meet these license holders? Because what they wanted to do was grab a portion for themselves, some money for themselves, and to convince these license holders to be what I suggest are bad people, you know, and restrictive people, you know, people who want to protect their position in the economy.
Yeah, it was less of a village mentality, it seems like, and more of
But you'll run into those people. You'll run into people because you're going to run head on into them as you evolve your whatever lobbying.
Thankfully, I'm loud and passionate, so
or just stick with the good stuff. And you know, I mean, the consumer, the activist lobbying stuff is good. Enough about lobbying. Sorry, I like to tell that story. I'm always available. You can call me and I'll talk about it. This has been another episode of Mina Chocolate. Adam, it's been great catching up with you.
as always, yeah.
And how do people get in touch with you?
You can you can hit me up on Adam at theplugsociety.com. I'll throw my number out there too. It's 586-817-4008. I'm available anytime. Never stop working. And like I said, I'm here to help. So if you want to pick my brain on anything, like I've been around the world.
Absolutely.
And we go live again October 23rd. You can register on theplugsociety.com right now. Let us know what vendors you're currently working with or want to work with. And that way, when we go live, everything will be tailored to your experience.
I like it. And this is why you come to these conferences. You can have conversations like this. You can't do that online.
Right. So still go out and see people. 3D is cool.
All right. Yes. I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, it's me again. Shout out to MJ BizCon, the biggest cannabis conference happening in Las Vegas, December 2nd through the 5th. We're building out our manufacturing and distributing project, creating real opportunities for brands and operators to connect and grow. If you want to get involved, reach out and be a part of it. It's going to be the hot market area. And that was another episode of Mita Unshackled. Thank you, Jack Career Brands, Cali FX, and Karma Cannabis Insurance. See you guys on the next episode.